Johnson & Johnson vaccine has been suspended from distribution. And the prosecution rests its case in the Chauvin murder trial.
Biden has plans to withdraw from Afghanistan this year, and the World Health Organization wants to ban live wild animal markets.
All of this and more right here on WCTV.
Good evening and welcome back to WCTV. I'm Gwyn Napier.
And I'm Rachel Pellegrino. Students put their creative sides to work last weekend at SAB's Biscuit Brew. Students were able to create their own seasonal masterpieces. Reporting from the Beehive, here's Rebekah Vaughan.
On Saturday, April 10th, the Waynesburg University Student Activity Board hosted another Biscuit Brew event in the Beehive. Students picked from a variety of ceramic pieces, all themed around the spring season. Paints, paint brushes, and paint palettes were all provided as well, so students could paint their stress away. And along with the painting, free Starbucks drinks were also provided. Students could choose from a modified Starbucks menu to order their caffeinated beverages and enjoy the relaxing time with friends.
So today from 2 to 4 in the Beehive, we're having our Biscuit Brew where students can come and paint different types of spring-themed ceramics. It's usually held once a month with different themes for each season.
After students finished their masterpieces, they could spray them with a clear coat to seal it all in before putting the supplies away. For Channel 14 News, I'm Rebekah Vaughan.
The federal government has made strides towards student loan forgiveness, but nothing is finalized. Senator Joe Manchin's recent comment against weakening the Senate filibuster just made the path to student loan forgiveness even more complicated. What does this mean for Waynesburg University students? Here's Rachel Pellegrino with more on the story.
American student debt has reached an all-time high of $1.7 trillion. And for the average student, that means about $38,000 in student loans. President Joe Biden promised student loan forgiveness during his campaign.
For example, the legislation passed by the Democratic House calls for immediate $10,000 forgiveness of student loans.
Yet the majority of students have not seen any relief. In the past few weeks, the amount of forgiveness and eligibility has wavered. Some Democrats are pushing for $50,000, while others are pushing for $10,000. Waynesburg University students are hoping President Biden will follow through with his promise.
So I'm hoping for that. If I don't get that, I think it'd be kind of unfair. But yeah, I'm hoping for it.
Compared to other universities, Waynesburg University ranks among the most inexpensive schools in the country. Student loan debt falls below the average American.
We try to keep our costs as low as possible so students don't have to go into heavily in debt in paying for their education. If for federal loans, it's around approximately $30,000 after 4 years, $30,000 to maybe $35,000.
Some Waynesburg students will graduate college with even less debt.
Yeah, I owe like under $20,000 by the time I graduate, so I'm really happy about that. I've been blessed with a lot of scholarships and that kind of thing.
In the 2019-2020 academic year, Waynesburg awarded $38 million in financial aid. To combat the issue of student debt, Stoken argues the need for more financial aid.
If you don't increase the aid programs available to students, what other option do you give them other than to seek out student loans?
Aggravators have also argued that forgiving student debt now won't fix the long-term issue.
I mean, I think loan forgiveness is a great thing. The problem is, let's say we cancel all the loan indebtedness of students who have borrowed to date. Well, beginning in the fall, students are going to start borrowing again. So are you going to do this every 4 years, every 5 years? And how long can you continue to forgive student loans indebtedness?
Because Waynesburg is a private institution, students will not see full student debt relief. What is the future of student loan forgiveness? Supporters have pushed Biden to utilize executive action to forgive student loans. However, Biden is unsure whether he has this authority. The Biden administration continues to research and draft a legal review of the basis of executive authority. If Biden cannot forgive student debt through executive action, the decision lies with Congress. Despite the Democrats holding majority in the 50-50 Senate with Vice President Kamala Harris breaking the tie, they would still need 10 Republicans to pass the legislation. Needless to say,
So I guess the bottom line is it's a very complex issue.
therefore, students won't be seeing relief anytime soon. For WCTV, I'm Rachel Pellegrino.
With just 2 weeks left of classes, Waynesburg University is making preparations for graduation. Here's Lindsey Stenger with more on commencement.
Big news for Waynesburg University graduates this past weekend. Due to the pandemic ripping celebrations apart across the board this past year, 2021 graduates feared that they would have to celebrate alone. However, Waynesburg University has officially announced that graduation is a go. With smaller ceremonies throughout the day, graduates will be given 4 tickets to give to their friends and family. While vaccination rates continue to rise, soon COVID-19 and all that it has ruined will be in our rearview mirror.
That's all we have for Campus and Region News. When we come back, we'll have news from around the nation.
You're watching WCTV, where we aim to bring you the best local coverage of what you care about most. Everything from local businesses to hometown sports and the latest weather. We're keeping up to date with what you need to know about issues that affect our campus and our community. We're telling the stories that matter, celebrating our past, our future, and our potential. So tune in for all the latest buzz right here on WCTV Channel 14, Waynesburg.
After 11 days of testimony and 38 witnesses, the state of Minnesota resolves its case against former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin in the death of George Floyd. Now the defense has a chance to present their argument, why Floyd's death was not the result of Chauvin's knee on his neck, but due to drug use and health issues. Nadia Romero is in Minneapolis with more.
Your Honor, the state of Minnesota rests.
Your Honor, the defense calls Scott Creighton.
A retired Minneapolis police officer and a retired Hennepin County paramedic were called as the first witnesses for the defense on Tuesday, both involved in a May 9, 2019 arrest of George Floyd.
This evidence is being admitted solely for the limited purpose of showing what effects the ingestion of opioids may or may not have had on the physical well-being of George Floyd.
In the prosecution's case over the past 3 weeks,
Mama!
we've seen emotion.
Oh my God.
From bystanders and Floyd family members.
He just was like a person that everybody loved around the community.
To allegations of excessive force.
Sir, is this an MPD trained neck restraint?
No, sir.
Has it ever been?
Not to my neck restraint, no, sir.
To a long line of medical doctors taking the stand to argue Floyd's death was the result of low oxygen due to sustained restraint from police.
And this caused damage to his brain that we see, and it also caused a PEA arrhythmia that caused his heart to stop.
In Minneapolis, I'm Nadia Romero.
2 federal agencies are recommending the United States pause the use of Johnson & Johnson's COVID-19 vaccine. The U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention and the U.S. Food and Drug Administration says the decision comes after reports of a rare and severe type of blood clot. Officials say they have recommended the pause because this type of blood clot is not on the list of potential adverse side effects that were part of the emergency use authorization. This means all federal health channels such as mass vaccination sites and community health centers that were administering the J&J vaccine will immediately stop for the time being. But the agency says it will be up to the individual states to make the decision to stop using the J&J vaccine because they are given separate allocations of doses. The White House says the pause will not have a significant impact on its vaccination plan. Meanwhile, J&J released a statement Tuesday morning saying, quote, "The safety and well-being of the people who use our products is our #1 priority," end quote. Because the CDC and FDA's decision, the company plans to delay the rollout of the vaccine in Europe. Officials have said the 6 reported cases were among more than 6.8 million doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine administered in the United States. All 6 cases occurred among women ages of 18 and 48, and symptoms occurred 6 to 13 days after vaccination.
As the U.S. inches closer to 200 million doses of the COVID-19 vaccine being administered, recent CDC data shows that the country is on the cusp of a milestone. Mandy Gaither has more in today's Health Minute.
A growing percentage of the population has received at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine, according to the latest numbers from the CDC.
In the last 7 days alone, the U.S. has reported administering nearly 22 million shots. That's more than 8% of the adult population in a single week.
And a milestone is now within reach. The U.S. on track to have half of the adult population with at least one dose by the end of the week, according to a CNN analysis of CDC data. 11 states have already reached this threshold, including New Hampshire, where 64% of adult residents have received at least one shot. But top U.S. health officials again urge Americans not to let their guards down.
Don't declare victory prematurely. We see so many pulling back on some of the public health measures, the mask mandates, the restaurant opening, the bars. We can't be doing that.
Dr. Anthony Fauci says that while risk will vary person to person, with current COVID-19 conditions and being fully vaccinated, he'd be comfortable eating outdoors in public or attending a baseball game.
I would not hesitate to go to an outdoor baseball game. I would wear a mask because I'm out there in the community. My risk would be extremely low, particularly if I wear a mask.
Fauci says breakthrough coronavirus infections in those who have already been vaccinated are inevitable because no vaccine is 100% effective, but says even if a vaccine fails to prevent infection, it often protects against serious disease. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Fauci says so far, data suggests COVID-19 vaccines offer some protection against coronavirus variants. The Egyptian authorities have seized the massive cargo ship, which has blocked the Suez Canal for 6 days last month, until a $900 million compensation bill is paid. State-run Al Ahram news outlet reported today, Tuesday, that the Egyptian court has ordered the Panamanian-flagged, Japanese-owned Ever Given to pay the amount due to losses inflicted when it blocked all traffic passing through the Suez Canal. The compensation bill also includes maintenance fees and rescue operation costs. More than 400 ships trying to cross the vital waterway were blocked due to the Ever Given running aground. On March 30th, the ship successfully was refloated and moved for repairs in the beginning of an investigation. The ship was carrying almost 20,000 containers, which will also be seized until the dispute is resolved. The Japanese company that owns the ship, Zui Kaizen-Kausha, says insurance companies and lawyers are currently working on the compensation now and refuse to comment further.
President Biden is planning to announce a full withdrawal of U.S. troops from Afghanistan. Two people familiar with the plans say U.S. troops will withdraw by September 11th to mark a symbolic end to the longest war in American history. The Trump administration had set a May 1st deadline in an agreement with the Taliban. The only extends the presence of U.S. troops by a matter of months. U.S. officials say there are currently about 2,500 troops in Afghanistan. The World Health Organization has called for a ban on the scale of live wild animals in food markets. According to the organization, animals are the source of more than 70% of all emerging infectious diseases in humans. It comes after a 120-page World Health Organization report into the origins of COVID-19, which found it probably spread to people through animals and probably started spreading among humans no more than a month or two before it was noticed in December of 2019.
These little girls who were dropped over a border wall in New Mexico last month are now closer to reuniting with their parents. Border Patrol says it has released them from custody after holding them for 13 days. That's more than the 72-hour legal limit. The agency says the kids are in good health. Ecuadorian officials say the girls' parents are in New York and haven't been in touch with their daughters. President Joe Biden makes a potentially historic pick for the Defense Department. He nominated Christine Wormuth for Secretary of the Army. If Wormuth gets the nod from the Senate, she will be the first woman to have that position. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin issued a statement calling Wormuth, quote, a true patriot, end quote. She previously was Under Secretary of Defense for Policy, which included work on the department's counter-ISIS efforts. In addition to Wormuth, the Biden administration announced two other names for key slots. They are Susanna Plume for the department's Director of Cost Assessment and Program Evaluation, and Gil Cisneros for Undersecretary of Defense Personnel and Readiness. That's all for national news. When we come back, we'll have Lindsey Stenger with business and entertainment. But first, we have Rebekah outside with a brief weather update. Rebekah?
It's a beautiful spring day here in Waynesburg, but later in the week, the weather is going to take a turn for the worst. So stick around for later in the show when I do my full 7-day weather update.
I'm Lindsey Stenger with your business and entertainment update. Shazam gets a new villain and Janet Jackson auctions off some of her most iconic memorabilia. Here's Ricky DeMagallo with the Hollywood Minute.
His name is Captain Sparklefingers.
No, it's not. That's not my name.
Shazam faces off against one of Charlie's angels. Lucy Liu has been cast in Shazam! Fury of the Gods as the villainous Calypso, who is the daughter of a Greek god. She joins Helen Mirren and returning titular star Zachary Levi in the upcoming sequel, which is scheduled to open in June 2023. Janet Jackson fans can now bring the Rhythm Nation home. The legendary singer is auctioning off over 1,000 personal items, including a wedding dress and outfits she wore in the Scream music video alongside her brother Michael. The event will take place beginning May 14th, and part of the proceeds will go towards a global child advocacy charity.
You got to get in the van if you want to make it in this business.
Talk about an all-star lineup. Dave Grohl has assembled a slew of his famous friends to take part in his new documentary, What Drives Us. This is your first look at the flick, which will feature appearances by fellow rock stars like Ringo Starr, Steven Tyler, The Edge, and Slash. Fans can rock out when the doc is released on April 30th. In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damagello.
Facebook users can now ask companies' oversight boards to remove posts. The court-like system was created last year, and for the first 6 months, the Oversight Board only heard appeals from users who had had their own content removed by Facebook. Now the board will also hear appeals from people who want content taken down after Facebook moderators have already opted to leave it in place. The tech company announced the changes Tuesday by tweeting, quote, "The board will make an independent judgments on what to leave and what to take down," end quote. In the coming weeks, the Oversight Board is expected to issue a decision on whether Facebook should reinstore former President Donald Trump's account. An online gambling site is looking to hire a baseball fan who really likes hot dogs. The casino review site Bonus Finder says it needs someone to be their MLB professional food taster. The chosen individual will get paid $500 to eat hot dogs, watch baseball games, and at major league stadiums. You have to live in North America and be at least 21 years of age for this position. You also have to love baseball stadium atmosphere, enjoy the game, and be able to critique the quality and complexity of a hot dog. If you think you can handle that, you can apply for the job on Bonus Finder's website. Applications will be accepted through May 2nd, and the winner will be selected on May 5th. Homeowners across the U.S. saw a significant increase in their property tax bill last year. According to a recent report, Mandy Gaither explains why in today's Consumer Watch.
In 2020, total property taxes levied on single-family homes jumped 5.4% from the year before, the biggest average increase in 4 years, according to an analysis of 87 million U.S. homes by Adam Data Solutions, a property information firm.
The increase was twice what it was in 2019, a sign that the costs of running local governments and public school systems rose well past the rate of inflation.
When it comes to the highest effective property tax, which is an estimate of the average percentage of a property's value that is paid annually in taxes, the firm says states with the highest rates in 2020 were New Jersey at 2.2%, followed by Illinois, Texas, Vermont, and Connecticut. The other 5 states in the top 10 were New Hampshire, New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio, and Nebraska.
Fortunately for recent home buyers, they have mortgages with super low interest rates that somewhat contain the cost of home ownership. But the latest tax numbers speak loud and clear about the continuing pressure on both recent and long-time homeowners to support the rising cost of public services.
The analysis showed those with the lowest effective tax rates in 2020 were Hawaii, Alabama, West Virginia, Colorado, and Utah. For Consumer Watch, I'm Mandy Gaither.
New Jersey had the highest average property tax of a single-family home at nearly $9,200. That's more than 10 times higher than the average of around $840 in Alabama. That's all from my side of the court. When we come back, Brooke Fuller has the latest in sports.
Goes Zuzik into the end zone, almost untouched.
The middle, back out to Delaney, 3-ball. How about, yes.
Cuts up inside, into the end zone. Touchdown, Trenton Carter.
Hi, I'm Brooke Fuller here with your WCTV Sports Report. Waynesburg University was back in action for another packed week of sports. The Waynesburg University baseball team hosted W&J for a doubleheader Sunday afternoon. Unfortunately for the home squad, the Presidents managed to put up a double-digit run in both contests to win the games 10-4 and 12-0. The team looks to bounce back, hosting another pair of doubleheaders against the Chatham Cougars today at 1 and 3:30. The softball team will play their first game after 10 days as they host Grove City this Thursday for a doubleheader. The first pitches are scheduled for 3:30 and 5:30 p.m. The Waynesburg University women's soccer team hosted St. Vincent for a Saturday President's Athletic Conference matchup. The Yellow Jackets unloaded 22 shots, 10 of those on goal, to edge the Bearcats 2-1. The women's team travels to Teal for a face-off at 3 p.m. today. The Waynesburg University men's soccer team hosted a PAC rival St. Vincent on Saturday. The Yellow Jackets battled the Bearcats for 90 minutes and scored a thrilling last-second goal, making it a 2-1 victory at John F. Wiley Stadium. The men's team will travel to Teal today to take on the Tomcats. The game will begin at 6 p.m. The Waynesburg University men's and women's golf team traveled to South Point Club on Monday to compete in the Peter C. Rawson Memorial Invitational, which was hosted by Washington and Jefferson. The Jackets now turn their attention to the upcoming PAC Championship, which is underway this Saturday for the women and an upcoming Monday for the men. The Waynesburg University volleyball team celebrated senior night on Monday when it hosted St. Vincent for a match in the President's Athletic Conference Consolation Tournament. WCTV's Caleb Yager has more on the game.
The Rudy Marisa Fieldhouse hosted senior night for the Waynesburg women's volleyball team on Monday evening, featuring seniors Hannah Colvin and Alexis Phillips. In a President's Athletic Conference consolation bracket game, the Yellow Jackets faced the St. Vincent Bearcats. In the first set, St. Vincent cruised past Waynesburg. The score was within reach for the Yellow Jackets, but committing 11 errors led to a 25-17 loss in the first set. Set number 2 was also a struggle for the Yellow Jackets, committing another 10 errors. St. Vincent's combined 14 kills led the Bearcats to a 25-16 victory in the second set. The third set, however, was the closest out of all of them. After being down 23-18, Waynesburg scored 3 straight points to make the score 23-21. But ultimately, St. Vincent took the 25-22 win, sweeping the match in 3 straight sets.
Historically thinking, Waynesburg's never beat St. Vincent. I was really hoping to break that today. But we played hard and we've grown a lot. We made way less errors than we would have in the past, so we've grown a lot as a team.
On the St. Vincent side, senior Madison Reaping led the Bearcats with a game-high 10 kills. Phillips led the Yellow Jackets with 14 assists, while Colvin led the team in kills with 7.
Those two, they've done so much for us. Not only are they just positive young women on the court, they work hard in everything that they do. They're the first ones in the gym, the last ones to leave, the first ones to finish their sprints. They're going to lift the heaviest just because they want to better themselves.
I've loved my team these past 4 years, and I'm really thankful for the growth that we've made. And I'm really thankful that my family could come out and just enjoy this moment with me. Yeah, it was really special to me.
At the conclusion of an altered spring volleyball season, Waynesburg head coach Emily Taylor is looking forward to working again with her team for a second time.
This was a season that we didn't think was going to happen at all, so for us to have stayed healthy all season and gotten to play almost all of our games, we're just feeling really fortunate, and I'm excited about this group moving forward and the work that I know that they can do, and hopefully putting some new numbers on the wall in the next couple of years.
Caleb Yager, Channel 14 Sports.
The Waynesburg University women's lacrosse team hosted Chatham Saturday night for a PAC contest. The Yellow Jackets scored the first goal of the match, but the conference-leading Cougars locked in and rolled to a 19-5 victory. The lacrosse team will host the Teal Tomcats tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. The Waynesburg University team hit the road for the first time this season on Friday when it traveled to Bethany for a PAC South Division contest with the Bison. The Jackets were outscored 40-7. The team is still searching for its first win as they head to St. Vincent Saturday to kick off at 1 p.m. That's all for sports this week. When we come back, we have Rebekah Vaughan with the weather. Once again, I'm Brooke Fuller.
Hello and welcome back. I'm Rebekah Vaughan and this is your 7-day weather forecast. Today we saw a mostly cloudy day, we had a 21% chance of rain, and we saw a high of 69 degrees with a low of 47. Tomorrow is also looking pretty dreary out there with a mostly cloudy day all day long with a high of 65 and a low of 48. Unfortunately, the rest of the week isn't looking much better. Continuing on this rainy trend, we have an overcast day for Thursday and a high of only 53 degrees and a low of 42. We'll have a 59% chance of rain on Thursday. Friday is once again looking rainy and dark. We'll see rain in the early hours of Friday morning, leaving us after 10 a.m. for an overcast day. The high on Friday is 55 with a low temperature of 41. On Saturday, we are finally looking to see a drier day, but still overcast all day long. A high of 64 and the low is going to be all the way down in 37. Sunday is also going to be overcast all day long, low chance of rain with a high of 65 and a low of 38 degrees. Monday, we have a 78% chance of rain, so we're starting a dreary week to the beginning of our school week. The high on Monday will be 64 with a low of 46. A week from today on Tuesday, we are still seeing rainy, dark skies with a 40% chance of rain, and the high on Tuesday will be 63 with a low of 38. Well, as they say, April showers bring May flowers, so hopefully this week of rain will bring some beautiful spring flowers to the campus. Once again, I'm Rebekah Vaughan, and this has been your 7-day weather forecast.
Well, Rachel, this episode of the newscast has definitely shown girl power.
Yeah, if you couldn't tell, all of our talent today, there were women, and also most of our packages were created by females on our crew as well.
Okay. Well, until next time, I'm Gwyn Napier.
And I'm Rachel Pellegrino. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of Waynesburg Community Television.